good afternoon. Thank you first to Maureen and OIS for allowing me to present today Theialife. All right, so Theialife is a new company which was recently incorporated here in the United States. It's an ophthalmic company, and their goal and their vision is to develop several treatments for eye disease. Their lead compound is ND10, and the targeted indication is trying to prevent these kids to go to high myopia. So myopia kids, preventing them to go to high myopia. So myopia, everybody knows what myopia is, but what's happening today is many of these children who have already myopia less than -6 diopters are going further and further in high myopia while growing up. And the expectation today is that 10% of the population who are myope by 2015 will be about high myope. So it is considered as a first priority for finding a treatment. Some more numbers, more granularity. In United States, today there's about 1.7 million kids with high myopia. The biggest incidence is obviously in Asia, in China, and in Japan as well. So, key consideration, why high myopia? It's elongation of the eye. It will continue until age of 16, basically, and it starts very early. And again, we talk about high myopia -6 diopters. I was told that some of these ophthalmologists, they can see patients in Asia with high myope kids already -6 at age 3. The eye is elongated. It's going to continue to be elongated. You cannot shorten the eye. You can put eyeglasses, spectacles, lenses, laser, but you cannot correct the elongation. What's happening in the society today is mainly a change in lifestyle. We all have kids, and it's very tempting to give our kids iPads, iPhones, and they don't go out in the sun anymore. And this is the main cause of this high myopia and that trend in increasing of myopia. And that's what that's what Theialife is trying to address. Their lead compound is ND10. It's a metabolite of caffeine, and it's an adenosine receptor antagonist, and it's really designed to slow down myopia. It's going to be a small molecule, and it is a small molecule, and the formulation will be an oral tablet. Mechanism of action is pretty simple, actually. It's because it's a 2A1 receptor, adenosine 2A1 receptor antagonist. It will allow to enhance the activity of dopamine, which will decrease the MMP activity, and therefore allow increase in production of collagen, but mainly increase the diameters of collagen fibers in the posterior sclera. And that's what will allow scleral thickening and then slow down myopia progression. So in summary, ND10 will be indication. The indication will be prevention to go to high myopia in children, so it's going to be a pediatric indication. It inhibits the adenosine 2A2 receptor. It's going to be contraindicated, obviously, if you have allergy or hypersensitivity to caffeine. So what's interesting is that compound was already in the clinic. So you're probably going to be surprised, but that compound was developed by an ophthalmologist in Denmark. And as early as 2009, he went down the compound pharmacy in Denmark, talked to the health ministry in Denmark, and went in the clinic. And he did some clinical trial and did prescribe the tablets to about 1,200 kids. And I'm going to go in detail in a minute. Several preclinical studies have been done in rabbits, in guinea pigs, pigmented rabbits, and even in NHP, non-human primate. In all these models, some of them are a former deprivation myopia model. They show a decrease in elongation of the eye, and they show also an increase in the collagen fibers diameters. Again, these papers have been published in several papers. I'm not going to go too much in details. So going the clinical studies, as I said, Dr. Trier, an ophthalmologist in Denmark, as early as 2008, His PhD was in connective tissue. He discovered the role of this metabolite from caffeine in myopia, and he decided to run a clinical trial, very placebo control, with the authority, with the approval of the Danish authority, and very quickly demonstrated after 2 years, he showed improvement, slowing down of myopia in these kids. And he wanted to continue, so he continued to get these tablets at the compounding pharmacy down the street in Denmark, in Copenhagen, and he did treat about 1,200 myopic patients. But that had to stop, obviously, because that was not realistic. But he showed the data, he showed really high efficacy, especially the lowest group of patients, the group which is the youngest one. So at that time, he needed to find a way to manufacture this tablet, and that's how he met BioPlus. And BioPlus, it's a company based in India, specialized in formulation, in synthesize. The end product was very viable to manufacture the tablets. They merged together, they created Theialife, and today they are ready to go to meet with FDA in Q1, and also plan a clinical trial here in the US. So that's the story which is behind and why it took so long to go where we are today. In summary, mechanism of action, it's an agonist of the adenosine receptor. What is in the market today? How do we treat myopia today? Obviously, it's atropine eye drops. You all are familiar with it. The efficacy is questionable. The safety is questionable. And there is a rebound effect, as we heard. They are multifocal lens. They correct the refraction, but they're not going to address the peripheral vision, which is still going to be blurry. And they are orthokeratology lens, which have been approved. They are temporary reshaping of the eye, of the cornea. They have to be worn overnight. The compliance is very mediocre because it's not fun to wear them. So Theialife believes that ND10 has an opportunity here to address this disease. This is not a clinical trial. This is not a comparison data. This is not a clinical trial. It's just a way to compare what to expect from ND10 based on the clinical data in terms of efficacy. Today, based on the clinical data from these 1,200 patients, ND10 is expected to have an efficacy of 75% in reduction of myopia. If you look at atropine and optical device, it's around between 28–30% or less. There was a workshop with the FDA in 2016. The understanding is the FDA will expect to see about 30% of decrease in myopia progression. So Theialife is cautiously optimistic that they could meet the challenge and have an opportunity here to address this disease. So an interesting compound, efficacy kind of demonstrated, safety definitely demonstrated, no safety issue that was confirmed by the Danish authorities. We have to go in clinical trial, we have to meet with the FDA, and there is a strong IP right now which will expire in 2044 based on the new formulations. These are the two founders, as I said, Dr. Trier, Klaus Trier in Denmark, the ophthalmologist, that solved the technology came from him, and then BioPlus came later on and who helped and solve the problem of formulation and synthesize, and that's how Theialife was created. They have a pipeline already of other products to address some of these ophthalmic diseases, especially dry eye, in particular, maybe also for wet AMD. This is a company which is being built, so if you are interested, come and see me. Thank you very much.